Back, 1869, October 2nd. Porbandar, Gujarat. That's where Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born. Nobody back then could have imagined that this child would grow up to challenge a massive empire just with ideas, no weapons, no violence. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, he was the Diwan of Porbandar state, basically like a prime minister, known for being super honest, strict, very dutiful.
Right. And his mother, Putlabai, she was deeply religious, very self-controlled. Her life was, well, fasting, prayer, service, and that clearly had a huge effect on young Mohandas. He was the youngest of four, and apparently quite shy, didn't talk much as a kid, which is interesting given who he became.
It really is striking how early some things showed up. His school record was, well, pretty average, actually. But one thing stood out even then. He absolutely refused to lie. There's that famous story from school, right, where the teacher tells him to copy spelling from someone else, but he just wouldn't do it. Even got told off for it, but stuck to his guns. Stuck to the truth. The source suggests that was really the beginning, the very start of his path of truth.
It's such a foundational detail, isn't it? Seems small, maybe, but it just foreshadows everything. That unwavering commitment to truth, satyagraha, which isn't passive, I should say. It's often translated as truth force or soul force. It's active resistance aimed at converting the opponent, not just forcing them.
Makes you think about where greatness starts, doesn't it? Those little moments, and then, life moves on. 1883, he's just 13, and he's married to Kasturbai. The narrative mentions they fought a lot at first, which sounds pretty normal, I guess. But over time, they really became partners. Kasturbai, Baham, she supported him through absolutely everything. So his education, it continues in Porbandar, Rajkot, then college in Bhavnagar, but he wasn't really feeling it. And that's when the family decides, okay, England, study law.
Yeah. And his mother was worried, naturally, sending him off to a foreign country, different culture. So to reassure her, Mohandas made this really serious promise. No meat, no alcohol, won't stray from the right path. And that vow, that self-discipline for his mother, that became another really key part of his character, didn't it? You see it later in his ascetic lifestyle.
Definitely. So he heads off to England September 4th, 1888. Studies law at Inner Temple in London. He's there 3 years. And the materials really highlight this wasn't just about law books. It was about understanding society, figuring himself out. And it's there he first properly reads the Bhagavad Gita, which, as we know, became absolutely central to his life and his thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, when he gets back to India June 12th, 1891, and tries to be a lawyer, he basically fails. His first time in court, he freezes up, can't speak, loses the case. And he starts thinking, okay, maybe this kind of law practice isn't for me, which is ironic because that failure kind of pushed him on a completely different world-changing path.
What a path it turned out to be. So 1893, a Gujarati merchant needs someone for a case in South Africa. Gandhi goes. He's only 24. And boom, he immediately hits the wall of racial discrimination. Hard. That famous incident, getting thrown off a first-class train carriage even though he had a valid ticket, just because he was Indian.
That was it, the turning point. The sources say something like, something broke there and something awakened. And he ends up staying in South Africa for 21 years. 21 years. And that's where satyagraha is really forged. That philosophy of nonviolent active resistance, he's fighting for Indian rights, dignity, identity, gets thrown in jail multiple times. But just keeps going. His purpose becomes crystal clear. Stand against injustice, always nonviolently, and crucially win people over with moral force.
He absolutely found his voice, his mission there in South Africa. So when he finally returns to India in 1915, he's not just Mohandas anymore. People are already starting to call him Mahatma, great soul. And the impact back in India is, well, pretty much immediate. 1917, he goes to Champaran in Bihar, British landlords forcing farmers to grow indigo. It was exploitative. Gandhi listens to the farmers, starts satyagraha there. And they win. They get justice. The narrative suggests this is the first time the British really thought, uh-oh, this guy means business. He's not backing down.
And that win in Champaran was so important for India, wasn't it? It showed people in India that this nonviolent approach could actually work, that organized, peaceful protest could challenge the British right there on home soil.
Exactly. Then came the big one, the non-cooperation movement in 1920. Gandhi calls on everyone. Boycott British rule, quit government jobs, pull kids out of government schools, burn foreign clothes, and the whole country gets behind it. It's massive.
Okay.
But then, 1922, Chari Chara, some protesters get violent, set fire to a police station, police die, and Gandhi immediately calls the whole thing off, stops the entire movement.
Wow. Stopping something that huge nationwide.
Yeah.
That must have caused a massive backlash, surely.
Yeah.
What was the thinking there? What does that tell us about him?
Well, the sources are really clear. He stopped it because his belief was absolute. We want freedom, but not through violence. Full stop. People definitely criticized him for it at the time. But it just cemented nonviolence as his core principle, not just a tactic.
Yeah.
For him, how you achieve something was just as important as the goal itself. The means had to be pure.
It really says everything about his moral compass. And he didn't stop challenging the British, just shifted tactics. Which leads us to 1930, the Dandi March, the Salt March. March 12, 1930, he starts walking 240 kilometers from Sabarmati Ashram to the coast, and then he picks up salt, breaks the British salt law.
Yeah.
A direct challenge to their power, and the whole world was watching.
The salt march, yeah. It seems so simple on the surface, just picking up some salt. Why was that so effective, so strategic?
Oh, it was genius. It wasn't just breaking a law, it was breaking the law on salt. Salt is something everyone needs. Rich, poor, Hindu, Muslim, everyone. It made the British monopoly, their control, feel really personal and, frankly, absurd. It was a brilliant way to make civil disobedience something everyone could understand and participate in. Turned an everyday thing into this powerful symbol of freedom.
Incredible. Okay, fast forward a bit. His final major call to action, 1942, the Quit India movement.
Yeah.
August 8th, 1942, in Bombay. That cry goes out. British quit India, and Gandhi's famous line, "Do or die." It ignites the country, this huge wave of defiance. And of course, Gandhi's arrested again, and it's during this imprisonment tragedy strikes. February 22, 1944, his wife, Kastubai, who is in prison with him, she passes away. The narrative really emphasizes this, how heartbroken he was, broken inside, but somehow even stronger, more resolute on the outside. Channeled that grief.
It just highlights the immense personal cost, doesn't it? For him, for his family. This wasn't just politics for Gandhi. It was deeply, profoundly personal. The sacrifice was immense.
Absolutely. So, finally, August 15th, 1947, India is independent, freedom, but it came with that terrible price, partition. The country divided into India and Pakistan. Gandhi was devastated by the division.